Welcome to the channel everyone, German Eagle here, bringing you another Call of Duty World War II Best Class Setup video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the often overlooked semi-auto rifle category, and in particular my favorite one in the game, the M1A1 Carbine. This gun is definitely a rarity in online multiplayer, and I can probably count how many times I've encountered it on one hand, but let me tell you, it is definitely a hidden gem and worth a go. So for this gameplay, we're using the Epic Body Snatcher variant for this gun, but you can go ahead and use whichever one you like best. The division that we're going to want to use for this setup is Mountain. With Mountain, we're going to be staying off the radar, as well having silent footsteps, which is going to ensure we stay stealthy. With this gun, we're going to want to keep ourselves at a greater distance. We're not going to run and gun and get into the face of the enemy. We definitely want to ensure that we get that first shot off. That leads into the first attachment that we're going to use for this gun, and what I feel is an absolute must, which is Quick Draw. Quick Draw is going to ensure that we ADS faster and get that first shot off, which is also important with this weapon. The second attachment that we're going to be using is a foregrip. With the foregrip, it's going to bring our recoil down to a minimum, which is going to ensure the second and third shots connect no problem. And this really does make all the difference in the world, as this gun doesn't have a lot of recoil, but with this on, it just feels like a laser. In my opinion, the iron sights on this gun are quite clean, and I do like them quite a bit, but if for some reason they don't work for you and you feel the need to put a red dot sight on this gun, I would replace it with the foregrip as opposed to the Quick Draw. That setup will still work quite well for you, but just not quite as sharp aim as with this one. The sidearm that I like to use to complement this weapon is the machine pistol with extended mags. With this, you have a weapon with a high fire rate, and it's great for whipping it out and finishing off enemies if need be. The basic training that we use for this setup is Hunker. With Hunker, you're going to be able to see those grenades coming in earlier and take more damage from them, which is definitely going to ensure that you don't get any of those high score streaks ruined for you by getting hit by a fluke grenade shot. And the score streaks that we are going to want to use for this setup is the UAV, so we can see everyone on the radar, the fighter pilot, which again is going to give us a glance at the enemy and be able to take quite a few out, which works quite well on this map especially because it is quite open. And lastly, the paratroopers, because we are going to be going for some of those higher score streaks. Overall, I've been really happy with this setup, and it's worked really well for me on maps that have long sight lines. That's definitely one thing to keep in mind. You're not going to want to use this on maps when you're getting up close and personal with the enemy. You definitely want to keep yourself at a distance so you can win those gunfights, because up close, that's where this class may struggle a little bit. So you definitely got to play it more strategic and make sure that you always got that long shot on the enemy. So as you can see in the gameplay, I've now picked up an M1 Garand as my other weapon, as I've run out of ammo from the M1A1, and the class setup really could apply to this just the same, as it is another semi-auto rifle. One big difference though with this gun is the recoil. It definitely has a lot more vertical recoil than the M1A1, and at distance it's a little harder to spam that trigger and get some of those kills, but up close this definitely packs a little more punch, as it's quite strong. A lot of the pros were actually complaining that this gun was too OP in the competitive scene and were wanting to see a nerf for it, which I'm glad they didn't do, because especially for us in the pubs, we don't see too many people using this at all, and it's never really been an issue, and a lot of people actually don't like this weapon at all, but in the right hands it is quite a strong weapon. With all that being said, without a shadow of doubt, I believe the M1A1 Carbine is still the best semi-auto gun in the game, and it is really strong at long range with that low recoil. If you have a quick trigger finger, you can put those enemies down no problem, and it's just an absolute blast to use. The enemy team didn't even know what hit them, and I definitely highly recommend the next time Gustav Cannon comes in the rotation, don't go to that sniper class like everyone likes to, but try something like this out, as I think it'll work out quite well. As you can see, we're on a vicious metal now, so we're 30-0, haven't even died here. The game though is coming to an end, so it was getting a little tough to drop a nuke. Rushed a little deeper into the enemy territory than I would have liked to, but we ended up getting a few more kills here before the gameplay ended, as we're on an unstoppable now. But down here, I can hear that there's one or two enemies here, but the game is just about to come to an end. There was one, and ended up running out of ammo. Had to pull out my pistol and had to make a quick decision and went for the one here, but the other one shot me in the back. So was close, but just was running out of time to drop that V2 rocket, which if we had a few more kills, which hopefully they will, up the kill count to 100 and TDM again, just like we have in previous CODs, to give us a little more gameplay as the games end so fast. Well, that's going to wrap up this gameplay. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.